Have you ever laid there at night, not able to sleep, and decide to turn the TV on? Next thing you know, you find yourself watching Food Network at 2 a.m.? Hi, I'm Laurie, and that happened to me last month. The show was one of those food challenges where they go to the city that is known for some particular food, and two restaurants compete on who has the best of whatever food. The food choice was Gooey butter cake, and they were in the city I was born, St. Louis. Gooey butter cake sounded familiar to me, but I couldn't really recall it. After I watched the show, I seriously wanted to make this cake at 3 a.m. I called my mom the next day and I said, "Do you know about gooey butter cake, and do you have a recipe?" She informed me as a kid I tore up some gooey butter cake, but she didn't have a recipe. So I went on a hunt and I found one, and it seemed like I had everything I already needed in my kitchen. So I went to work. It was love at first bite. The goo was amazing and it melted in your mouth like custard. The legend behind the cake is in the 1930s, a German baker made this cake accidentally when he was just throwing together some ingredients for a normal yellow cake. Since it was during the Depression, he didn't want to waste it, so he sold it and it became a hit. Soon, all of St. Louis was making their version of gooey butter cake. I found out that the original bakery was only a few blocks away from where I grew up as a child. So today, I would like to show you how to make this tasty treat and a few variations I have discovered to make this simple but delicious dessert. Let's get baking. The first thing any recipe calls for is preparation. Allow yourself 15 minutes for this step. So the first thing is you want to buy your ingredients. You'll need a basic yellow cake, a half a cup of melted butter, 2 eggs, and 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, 4 cups of powdered sugar, and 2 more eggs that are beaten, and some vanilla extract. So then you'll need to get your baking materials together. You'll need a mixer, 2 8x8 pans or a 9x13 pan, and of course some bowls and spoons. You'll want to go ahead and butter these pans, and then you'll want to go ahead and get your oven ready. Go ahead and set your timer for 40 minutes and set your oven at 350. So now we're ready to make our crust. So you just take your cake mix, the half a cup of butter, melted butter, and your 2 eggs, and you'll go ahead and mix up your crust with a spoon. It's really thick. Don't follow the ingredients that are on the normal cake box, because otherwise it would be too runny. So your cake mix is going to turn out like that. And then you take your pan and you go ahead and just form it with some sides around the edges so your goo doesn't flop all over. And then after you have your crust made, you'll go ahead and make your goo. You take your 4 cups of powdered sugar, your 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, your 2 beaten eggs, and your vanilla extract, and you'll go ahead and mix that up with the mixer just until you get a smooth consistency. And that's gonna go ahead and look like this. It's pretty thick too. And you just pour that right over your crust, and you'll sprinkle it with a little powdered sugar. Put it in the oven. You're gonna bake it about 40-45 minutes or until the top gets brown. After it's all done, pull it out of the oven, and you can sprinkle it with a little bit more powdered sugar, like it doesn't already have enough in it. And this one I made earlier, I used a red velvet cake for Valentine's Day, and then I just sprinkled some hearts on it. That's one of my favorite things about this recipe, is there's so many different variations you could do with it. And that's the next thing I'm going to talk about, is some tips and variations that I've discovered. If you add a little brown sugar to your crust, it's going to give it like a caramely flavor. It's really good. If you want to give your goo a little lemon flavor, just add a little bit of lemon zest, and it gives it a real fresh type of flavor. Or you could mix some extract or cinnamon, nutmeg to it, and it can really alter the flavor of your goo. The other thing is toppings. If you take some blueberries or any kind of fruit and put it on the bottom of the goo and bake it, or put it on the top after your cake is done, it's real good. Or you can add nuts or chocolate chips. Don't drop your cake. The next thing is you could totally alter your cake by taking different cake mixes and forming your crust with that. My favorite one right now is a carrot cake. Use that for the bottom crust. In your goo, add some vanilla butternut extract, some cinnamon, sugar, and then when your cake is about done, drizzle it with some nuts and caramel-y topping. It's real awesome. Or you could just go with a basic brownie mix, put your goo on it with some chocolate chips. But one of the more unique ones is make your cake like normal, put some maple extract in the goo, and when it's all done, sprinkle some bacon on top of it. It's awesome. So today I've told you how to make gooey butter cake, and this cake is awesome to crave your sweet tooth. It's a nice, unique cake to bring to a party. There's so many different variations you can come up with, and I hope you can come up with your own variations. If you're ever in St. Louis, go to one of the mini bakeries and try their version of gooey butter cake. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this recipe and get baking.